Hello, everyone. Welcome to OTC's June webinar, What in the World is New Ventures? We want to take care of some housekeeping items first before we introduce our presenter. First thing I'd like to let everyone know is that we are recording this session so that we can provide it to you and others after the webinar is over. We are also doing live captioning. If you have any questions, please put those in the chat button and keep your mic on. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Emmanuel Smith, New Ventures Manager, to present on what in the world is New Ventures. Emmanuel?
Hey, thank you, Jackie. I appreciate the introduction. And again, I want to thank you all for tuning in to this webinar called What in the World is New Ventures? So I'm Emmanuel Smith, and I'm one of the New Ventures Managers for the University of Kentucky Office of Technology Commercialization. So my main focus and my job within OTC is that I work with UK faculty and staff who has disclosed an invention with our office in search of commercializing their technology. So for those that do not know what the New Ventures team does, or you have an idea but seek to gather more information or updates to our program, this webinar is for you. So with that being said, here's the agenda for the webinar. So we're going to talk a little bit about the UK OTC New Ventures, the objectives of the New Ventures programs, eligibility, and the current programs and initiatives in detail that support our UK innovators and our community. So about New Ventures. So what it all comes down to, we are here to serve and assist UK faculty, staff, students, and the community with the knowledge and resources to help ensure greater success as they navigate the commercialization pathway. So what does that mean? The New Ventures team understands that it's your technology, okay? It's your idea, so we're not here to necessarily compete, but to offer support and provide guidance and structure that aligns you with the best outcome to take advantage of opportunities that exist in your quest to commercialize. Rather, that is to license your technology, create a startup, apply for grant funding such as SBIR, as a few examples. Now next, let's roll into the objectives of our programs. Okay. So UK OTC New Ventures programs are designed to advance discoveries or inventions towards commercialization. Our program supports the difference makers, not only within our university, but for our state and abroad, with the overall mission to transform tomorrow by innovation and research. And now, one of the questions that arise with our office on occasion is eligibility. So in order to take advantage of our UK Pacific programs, you must first be a University of Kentucky faculty, staff, or student. You must have plan to disclose your invention or intellectual property, or plan to license a technology from the university. While we are willing to discuss ideas around your invention, just understand that a disclosure must be provided to be eligible for our UK programs. So our portfolio companies include life sciences, medicine, engineering, healthcare, IT, and everything in between. So we look forward to learning about your ideas and sharing how we can help support. All right, so now we're going to get into our programs. And what we have next is our flagship program called UK Excel. So UK Excel is a cohort-based experiential learning opportunity designed to challenge your idea as you seek to commercialize. So we do this in partnership with Brew, which we will discuss later, where we are able to offer an outstanding opportunity for our UK innovators that are seeking to commercialize their technology and get to know what that means. So when you transition from research to commercialization, the pathway is much different. And that is where the UK Excel program fits in. So we start with the tough pill to swallow that is no longer about your idea or your technology, but it's about how your technology creates value for your customers. Since answers are not found in the lab regarding those type of questions, we still use a scientific approach that many might identify with as in hypothesis testing. So we take away that faith-based approach to what we think our technology can solve in the market to more of an evidence-based approach that validates or invalidates your hypothesis in search of product market fit. And in many cases, you might have to pivot. So we highly encourage our new innovators to take advantage of that program as a start. And next, we have our Mentors in Residence program. This is one of our new programs and a very exciting one. We have the opportunity to match our UK innovators with subject matter experts with specific skill sets and experience to provide advice and to coach our innovators and startups that align with the interests of their technology. While there are a lot of intelligent members within the OTC office, we realize that there are others with industry-specific knowledge, whether that's in go-to-market strategies, regulatory, and early-stage technology assessment and development, as a few examples that have dedicated their time and resources to help advance your technology in your quest to commercialize. Now, one thing I want to highlight is that the MRI program is not designed to have a person take over your idea, your technology, run your startup, or apply for that grant. Each engagement follows a strict outline in that we utilize the SMART rule in our assessments, in that the engagements are specific, they are measurable, they are attainable, and they are relevant to the technology, and they have a timeline associated with that. So our typical engagements can last a few weeks to a month or two, depending on the need identified. Also, I would like to share that before any engagement happens, all parties are covered by a mutual agreeable NDA that protects all interests. So it's a wonderful program, and our current mentors are amazing and have very diverse skill sets. Next, we move on to the Catalyst program. So Catalyst is a proof of concept fund program with the goal to de-risk and better prepare UK technologies with the commercial potential for market fit and application. To give an example, so say you went through UK Excel and through your customer discovery, you validated some hypothesis and some early adopters or company came to you and said, hey, if you can solve this specific problem by doing X, Y, and Z, there will be a potential interest. And so you realize that in order to get there, you need some funding. And so this is where that Catalyst Fund can bridge that gap, or sometimes called the valley of death, between your idea and your discovery and commercialization. So potential funding for this program is up to $50,000. And it involves an invitation to apply. So this is not an unsolicited application. So it's based on having conversations with me and in our office first. And one thing to recognize is that this must be achieved within 12 months from your application. So as you can see, this is a project milestone-based approach that should identify how your invention gains further traction towards commercialization. And as you see here throughout this scoring rubric, you have a validated problem, and these are how we score these applications. So you have to have, your problem has to identify how the Catalyst funds can advance your technology, and that involves validation, and that involves discussion with your with corporates, customer discovery, your critiques from your grant as an example, and then you have the scope of work. So the scope of work must clearly address the stated problem, and then the innovator's commitment, which is a big one. So the innovator has demonstrated commitment to the commercialization process and will dedicate the time to the catalyst scope of work that is aligned with UK interests. And then we have the impact and the return on the investment. So this funded investment by UK must show that it has a significant impact on the commercialization potential of that technology, and that UK is likely to receive or realize a return on that investment. And then we have a few pass-fail measures, such as the budget, making sure that it's within line within a budget that's requested, as well as I discussed previously, this is a milestone-based approach, and we evaluate the milestones throughout the catalyst application, and if they are aligned with your scope of work. All right. So, and one thing I want to address is that this program is not to further gain lab research or exploratory studies. It must be commercialization focused. Next, we have UK pitch. So this is for innovators seeking to pitch their technologies, idea, or startup to gain notoriety or recognition, grant funding, or just monetary gain, such as pitching to an angel investing group as an example, as they seek to raise capital. So many of our UK innovators have identified a conference or competition and seek help in pitching. So pitching is a developed skill, and in many cases that needs polishing over time. So our office can help build that confidence. They can help assist in the creation and format, and even help recognize venues that align with your technology for greater exposure. And an added bonus to this program is the opportunity for funding the cost associated with registration and or travel to attend an event. So to take advantage of UK Pitch, it must be entrepreneurial or commercialization focused. Now let's move on to our next program, which is Executive on Roster. So it is essentially a matchmaking service designed to match executive level talent with the right industry and operational expertise for our university startups. As a best practice, this program is more geared towards our later stage UK startups that have solid and significant traction to support executive level talent. In many cases, university startups get to a point where the startup has exhausted all grant funding. The initial management is not capable of growing the company. It could be either due to skill sets, or you're a faculty member who just doesn't have time, or is torn between leaving their university position to run a company full time, or you simply just decide, your only option is to liquidate the company. So XOR is our solution for those type of situations. By leveraging XOR, this can ultimately increase the likelihood that outside investors will invest as they see the right people, which in turn increases the chances of business success. So as you see here, they are broken up in sectors. So you have your Southeast XOR and you have your Midwest XOR. So currently within the Southeast, there are 38 startups in the Executive on Roster platform. That includes 14 universities, as well as 77 entrepreneurs are a part of this platform. And then you have the Midwest in conjunction has 42 startups, 13 universities are a part of this, and then you have 68 entrepreneurs. And this is a program that is steadily growing today. All right, last but not least, we have our community opportunities. And one thing I like to share is that not only do we work with the University of Kentucky innovators, but we also find it is very important for us to get outside of the walls of the university and connect with our community. So we provide a few initiatives that within the university and are connected with some of our partners in the community to help leverage those relationships and with opportunities to know what's going on in our community that supports the startup ecosystem. And one opportunity is the Startup Lex. Okay, so this is a movement designed to create a community of entrepreneurs within Central Kentucky. So every week we send out a news and events newsletter that highlights some of the events that are happening in our area. So it's about encouraging growth, education, and giving for our entrepreneur ecosystem. And then to accompany that, we have the Slack channel. So this is basically an online platform through Slack where you can connect with like-minded people right here in Lexington, anytime, anywhere. And then we have Startup Breakfast. This is a program that's been going on for a long time. And so we meet every Wednesday morning, starting at 7 a.m. to about 9:30. And what this is designed to do is just to get connected with other startup founders or those looking to be create a startup, to engage in an open forum. It's very lax where you get a chance to meet other people within Central Kentucky and abroad as we share and get to know each other and build those relationships. So this is an outstanding opportunity to get involved into that. And typically we usually host it every week, rain or shine, at a local restaurant. But being with the COVID situation, we do not let that stop our show. So we continue to offer startup breakfast via Zoom. So I encourage you all to take advantage of Startup Lex, get on the newsletter, and you'll be plugged in with all the information to attend those meetings. And then next we have SBIR Unplugged. So this is an SBIR focus event where you can meet other Lexington companies that are involved with SBIR and learn about SBIR related news and events. So I encourage you to also look and subscribe into the Kentucky Innovation newsletter, in addition to the Startup Lex newsletter. And I recommend you start attending those events if you have interest in applying for SBIR, or you have applied for SBIR and you just want to get connected with other individuals within the SBIR ecosystem. I encourage you to attend that, which is the third Thursday of each month. And as the same as the Startup Breakfast, SBIR Unplugged usually meets at a local restaurant as well every month. But being that things are changing, we still offer that opportunity via Zoom. So I encourage you all to get plugged in to SBIR Unplugged. All right, then next, this is Launch Blue. So Launch Blue is one of our newer incentives. So we work with, so in conjunction with UKOTC, Launch Blue is a pre-seed hybrid virtual model accelerator designed to nurture the most promising Kentucky founders with scalable technical startups idea and empower them to move from the idea stage to successful launch. So this new outstanding program happening, and I encourage you to stay tuned to the upcoming developments. So we also have another new ventures manager, Laura Halligan, who drives this program. She's the executive director for Launch Blue. So I encourage you to take a look at launchblue.org to learn more information about this. And also, this is a competitive application process and is now open with an expected cohort to begin fall 2020s. So again, I encourage you to go on launchblue.org, share this information with anyone that you know that might be of interest, and take advantage of this outstanding opportunity. Then we have Founder Hunt. So Founder Hunt is a startup pitch in reverse. So this is an event where you pitch your technologies to a room of entrepreneurs looking for that next big opportunity to connect with startup founders who want to build a company around them. And then we have the Connecticut Reach. This is a Kentucky Network for Innovation and Commercialization program that is designed to support university or community and technical college faculty, staff, trainees, and students across Kentucky who want to accelerate introduction of their innovation to the marketplace to address unmet needs that benefit human health. So this is a human health focused program for those university and community and technical college, faculty and staff and students. So I encourage you to take advantage and research more in regards to this opportunity for those that are within the human health sector. And then last but not least, we have Five Across. So Five Across is a pitch competition for Kentucky entrepreneurs. So it's an opportunity to get your name out there. So it's kind of like it's like Lexington versions of Shark Tank. So you have 5 minutes each to pitch as you can compete for a chance to win $500. And you also compete for a chance to complete as a finalist at the annual event. So it's a pep rally and pitch competition all in one place. So I encourage you, if you've never attended a Five Across event, to do so. It's very engaging, it's very exciting, and it's a lot of energy around this. And you get a chance to see other startups across Kentucky and learn about what technologies they are doing and the ideas they are seeking to accelerate and develop. So I encourage you all to just take some time to attend a Five Across event. You'll be pleasantly surprised. It's very engaging and an outstanding opportunity. Without further ado, I thank you all for participating. Again, I'm Emmanuel Smith. Here's my contact information. So if you want to reach out to me via email, please do so. And I look forward to learning more about your technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Emmanuel, for that wonderful and informative presentation on what New Ventures is and the programs that we have. We have some questions that have come in. The first one is, if I am a UK faculty member that is new to OTC, which of these programs is the best place for me to start?
That's a good question. So being new, and one of the first things that we do, once you have disclosed your idea, your technology with our office, what we typically do from that point is to schedule a meeting with the New Ventures team. So once you schedule that meeting with the New Ventures team, we're able to address any needs and provide some training and some education to help you in your quest to commercialize. And a lot of that starts with going through our UK Excel program, because once you get out of the research side of things into commercialization, we want to make sure that the new UK innovator understands what commercialization means, and taking outside of just the research focused thing to more of the business and customer discovery and commercialization pathway that UK Excel can help fill that gap as we move forward in your commercialization cycle. Schedule a meeting with us to go through that is probably the best bet, as you move forward down this pipeline towards commercialization.
Speaking of UK Excel, we have a question asking what makes someone a good candidate for that program? Okay.
One of the things about UK Excel is that this is a very engaging program. So, we first seek commitment for our UK innovators that are seeking to commercialize, and understand that the focus is commercialization. And with that, what makes a good candidate is someone that is engaged and understands that it's going to be, you're going to get out of your comfort zone, because you have to, get outside of the walls, and you have to talk to customers. You have to talk, you have to do discovery. to be able to address a need in the marketplace. So we don't work on if I build it, they will come type of concept. It's more so let's talk to customers, let's get out there and reach them, understand their needs, and then we develop from there. Because that tends to be the best outcome for success long term, is to identify your customers' needs. And a part of that is the UK innovators being engaged in that process as they seek to either license that technology, create a startup, or even as they, are seeking SBIR funding and those type of things. So that sets you up at a greater advantage as you seek to potentially commercialize your technology. So we look at commitment and dedication as a forefront as we segment you through the other programs within our office.
Thanks, Emmanuel. Question: since the OTC provides resources for both the UK community and the Lexington community, can you talk more about resources that are available for the Lexington community members?
Okay. One of the, as I stated, before, we are very focused on in the engagement of the community and in supporting the ecosystem, not only within the university, but for our outside partners and the relations that we have in support of their effort overall across the state. And one of the programs that we have that I spoke about is the Launch Brew program, which is also a way to be able to work with other community startups that are looking to drive their idea stage to a successful launch. And then also we like to connect the community with our startup breakfast, as well as our SBIR Unplugged. So these are all community events that are associated with the university that we are heavily involved, that we manage from our office. And in partnership with other companies outside of the university, we continue to drive this relationship and try to connect as much as we can, our UK innovators, to the community for further research and development outside of the resource that we have internally within UK. So that will always be a topic of discussion as we move forward with our UK innovators in the importance of being involved in the Lexington, Central Kentucky startup ecosystem as they look to develop and build those relationships, outside of the university.
Great. On the Catalyst program, can OTC help me with my application?
Yes, that's one of the main reasons why we're here in regards to the Catalyst program, because we help make sure that your application is a quality one. So as you are interested in the Catalyst program, it first starts with a conversation with our office. And then from that, if it gets to the point where we're looking to submit an application, we actually help you with that to present a quality application with the hopes of getting funded. So we start from A to Z in regards to the application process, and we go through all those scenarios in regards to customer discovery and those type of things to make sure that you have a strong application to present in hopes of getting funded within the Catalyst program.
And we have one last question. For any of these programs, such as UK Excel, is it required that the main faculty researcher be involved, or are there possibilities to get postdocs and grad students who are close to the research involved in these programs?
Yes, there is. We also encourage students or postdocs to be involved in the commercialization efforts of our UK innovators. But we also heavily want and expect our UK faculty or staff to be heavily involved in in and as a driving force with their efforts to commercialize. So having the support of a student or a postdoc to do some of that work is encouraged, because we do understand that the UK faculty has other duties, but we also want to see the commitment of that faculty or that staff in conjunction with the student as they seek to commercialize, and not necessarily passing off just the task to, rather you're looking to license or create a startup to a student. So it kind of goes both ways, but we also encourage, if you do have someone that is a part of supporting those efforts, that is actually highly encouraged, as you seek to develop your technology.
Wonderful, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. And thanks to everyone who attended. We hope that you found this webinar very informative, and you can always contact Emmanuel or anyone in the OTC office to learn more about all of our services and programs. We also will be providing a link to everyone who attended today once the webinar is up on our YouTube channel. And we hope you'll join us for our July webinar titled Patent 101 to learn everything you need to know about patenting. Thank you, and we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.